we gonna rock down to Electric Avenue.
Our story begins in 1996, when volleyball was first created by a man named Benjani Einstein. What originally started on college campuses has grown to over 2,000 players worldwide, and today was the official volleyball tournament between Sugar Pine 7 and Funhaus. No, James, we're meeting everybody.
Okay. I'm warming up.
You don't need to, it's just a fun, friendly volleyball game.
All right, well, my blood literally stops if I stop.
Very good to have you back, Parker.
Yeah, man, it's good to be back. How are you?
Not bad, not bad.
Hell
Doing
yeah.
good. Hey, we should, well, where's Kib? Kib's not here yet. Oh, there's Kib! Or are you just taking your shirt off?
Captain of the team.
It's not like a competitive event, really. It's just...
Try that again.
There was no difference between the first time and the second time. I explained to Kib that it was totally fine if he was the captain of the team, if and only if at the end of the day we all realized that this is not a competitive event. Talk about a blast from the past, we even had surprise guest Jeff Ramsey show up, and it was the first time I'd ever seen him smile since watching any Rooster Teeth video ever. But then part of me thought that maybe it was like when my dogs smile, purely out of heat or exhaustion.
I've been sent by DHS to get rid of the Canadian.
Down home service, fuck yeah! Kib, your ride's here. Where? Ah! I have eczema. Welcome to the very first Funhaus
Annual
Sugar Pine 7 Volleyball Spectacular.
More than once a year.
There has to be more than one for
Don't
team.
interrupt
Yeah, there's
me,
nothing
man.
to say
For God's sakes, it's just an intro. It's just an intro. There was no way everybody was going to treat me like the host of On the Spot. I had to get control, otherwise nobody was ever going to respect me. It's 2017, and we're doing one a year, and it's the annual first ever volleyball tournament. Next time, we're gonna get couch hopping at Funhaus. Do you guys have a team name? What's your team name? Funhaus. Our team name is Sugar Pine 7.
What's that?
It's nothing yet. It's just going to be a...
What is it,
James,
though?
get back on our side. Very first we have James, who plays support.
1982
Play
state champ.
We have our own James.
James is a common name.
Which one's better?
We have Kib, who is, I guess,
by
team
Arkansas.
captain for some reason.
But of course.
And then we have Parker.
Hell yeah.
Parker!
Games, dude, something's different. I don't know what it is.
Before we could announce everybody on the Funhaus team, tragedy struck. We were told we couldn't take video or pictures at that particular volleyball court, and to this day, we still don't know the reason why.
You need a reservation.
People have come from can we make a reservation right now?
You can't.
How long do you
think it would take for them to confirm our reservation?
At least a couple days.
Couple days? It's a volleyball court, not a mastodon. I was right. It wasn't a mastodon. At least we were being kicked off by platinum security, which made me feel just a little bit more important. I'll give you guys $100 each.
Actually,
What's that?
24,000?
I'm sorry, I was actually asking what the word salary meant.
Everybody pack it up. Take it down. Bring it around town. Only to be shut down. No fun here. Go home.
All right, so we're at a new beach. Jeff couldn't make it to this one because he's at an age where just one inconvenience throws him off. It's finally time to play some volleyball. We've got the two teams. We've got Team Funhaus. Hey, watch it. And we've got Team Sugar Pine 7. Let's go Broilers! I was surprised at how sportsmanlike everybody was acting. Even Kib acted like a gentleman.
I will.
Because just like Abe Washington couldn't tell a lie, Kib can't talk trash. I don't know how to play volleyball, so I figured you guys would kind of like lead us into that.
I was state champ in 82.
No, you weren't.
Alfredo, you're back.
I don't like working with Alfredo, but goddamn, the man's a charmer.
Want white ball or blue ball?
Right is right. Hey.
Team huddle, team huddle, team huddle.
Team
Lines,
huddle,
lines.
team huddle.
I've come up with nicknames for everyone here. Spider Arms.
Yeah.
That's fitting.
Left side limb boy.
Left side limb.
Your nickname?
Yeah.
Michael Jordan.
And just like that, the competition was underway.
Alfredo, stay out of the way. Okay. Get limbered up. Get limbered up.
And now a quick message from whatever sponsor YouTube gives us, unless you're using ad blocker, in which case, fuck it.
Hey, get out of the shot! Get out of the shot! Zero serving zero!
I was never popular or good at sports, but my life has dramatically changed over the course of the past few years becoming a member of the 1%, and I was sure my newfound confidence would translate athletically. I let my team down, and on top of that, I let me down. If I couldn't pull this off, I wouldn't be allowed to continue my bloodline. I looked at the ball, and the ball looked at me. Connect.
Yes, Steve, yes. No, wait, no, correct your
Oh, are we doing a huddle?
Wrong team, wrong team. You got it.
Parker!
You got it.
Yeah.
Boys!
Set me up!
What the fuck are you doing? Snap into it!
Indiana Jones, make sure the weight's the same.
We're good.
Are we playing volleyball or not?
I didn't realize that one of the main obstacles we'd have to overcome today was James's bad body.
Sticking around.
Thankfully, all the hours Kovic puts in at the gym don't make him any better at serving.
Damn it!
That was in. Out. Sorry. Yeah. That's the state champ. Very bad. Very
I
bad.
just think I have to like prove myself.
You do. That's why we're here. For you to prove yourself. Stop it.
God damn it.
We're gonna serve it against James. We're gonna hit it on Lawrence, and we're gonna spike it on Elise. Okay?
Here's Bruce Green trying to fluff the content, trying to create situations that don't actually exist. Who in their right mind would do that?
Sorry. Real quick. Poster money coming soon.
Bad time.
Yeah.
my
I gotta
bad.
keep your head in
I was out of the game. At first, I was a little skeptical about Parker's nickname Michael Jordan. I'd never seen him play sports before, but halfway through the game, he was shutting the other team down. The sad part is, I couldn't even commend him for the job he did because Eunice on the other team wouldn't stop talking shit.
Hey! What are you doing?
Just another simple reminder that women should be seen when heard, which goes without saying for any gender because nobody likes to be snuck up on when they're talked to.
Every time we score a point, we have a collapse. We're winning, yo. We're winning. Okay. Come on. Let the win fuel you.
Parker, your logic is undeniable.
I do what I can. Hell in the game, James. Stop sitting around.
I don't think that this is for me.
Stop eating sand.
Point after point after point, Parker was controlling this game better than I control my bladder. And what I mean by that is that tragedy strikes randomly. And just like one bedwetting ruins a 362-day accident-free streak, Parker couldn't be who he needed to 100% of the time. With Parker no longer serving, we had to come up with ways to distract Funhaus.
Who's got the 84 Ford? You're parked illegally.
Even though Parker wasn't serving, and even though James was barely able to move at all,
I have this thing, it's called hydroelation, and it basically attracts what I desire.
and even though we had Kib, I figured there was no way they would be able to catch up to us before we got to 15.
13. Serving. 13. Dream it. Believe it.
Over! Red Rover! My calculations were off by a mere quadrant.
His calculations were off by a smear quadrant. That's why we didn't get that.
I think we were all very worried about James, and we weren't really sure how to handle it.
Thank God for erosion.
Betterman have beat me.
Betterman beat off to me.
David Letterman beat off to me.
On top of James's condition, I didn't think I'd be having an issue with Lawrence today. Yet for some reason, in Lawrence's little world, he has a lot to do.
Yeah, like what? Play video games, play new fucking Skyrim.
Steven, I want to eat lunch. God damn it.
Christ.
We're gonna love blood sugar.
One more point, and Funhaus would have won the entire game, but I knew my team, and I knew they weren't going to let me down.
Over.
Look at the smugness on Bruce's face, and look at what position Lawrence is in. What stance is this? It looks like he's staring at the ball, like he thinks he can somehow move it with his eyes, but instead all he does is shit his pants.
All right, one last serve for all the marbles.
Is this tied up, last serve?
Sure, whatever.
14-14, one final serve to decide the true champion of 2017's Volleyball Championship. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't nervous, but one thought, and one thought alone, rescued me from the tension.
Wait, Jeff was wearing the same thing today that he was yesterday. Ah, whatever.
It was time for the final round. It was Parker's serve, and it was my ball to win.
Oh, right, get it. Get it.
Form, technique, passion, invitation. I felt my team and Funhaus's eyes all watching me. My spider arms were tingling, and it was time to take this one home.
You fucking gimp.
Right about here is where I realized it's not so important to be competitive. The important thing is having fun with your friends.
Good game. Make sure you show the handshake. I don't know what we've been doing.
We had a good time.
The heroin's wearing off now.
Well,
We're actually gonna grab lunch if you guys want to grab lunch.
Oh, mimosa? You guys down for mimosas?
No, we have jobs, man.
You guys actually on payroll right now?
I aspire to be like that, dude.
Alien Covenant in theaters this Friday at 8.
It was a magical day, full of fun, full of pleasure, but most of all, full of friendship.
did we win or did they win? I think they
Parker's
they're
making
victory. Yeah.
We're all winners. We're all friends and all had a good day.
Hell yeah, dude.
And I'm breathing again.
I don't know anybody that doesn't watch Funhaus at this point. They're one of the best channels on YouTube. If you'd like to see their point of view, click right here, or the link in the description.
We got it.
Oh no, dude!
You know who I miss? From SourceFed, he's the head of production. Rickey, Massachusetts. That guy was great.
Miss him. What?